people go know by now, the National Grand Coalition NGC party, they don't refer to them as the third force in the country. Also, them be contest the last presidential election and in been the candidates we been seen up for this particular coalition, yeah, so and now a member of parliament where they represent in people and but it don't raise concern on issues them where he believes say not they happen the way how they supposed to happen and self where it in a parliament it don't they ensure say it they talk on thing them way for protect the country in democracy. And the National Grand Coalition every month since then the opposition we see them can pull the cost of living where they can go na different markets them for check on prices them of thing them where them believe say people for they get access to. But of late we see Dr. Kandeh Yumkela raise some serious issues them, especially in social media platform them who say it is concern about the economy, the need for let the government set up the Peace Commission now, the Auditor General in issues if we don't rub mouths day and different other thing them where they can talk about this morning. It don't say small way we being last get Dr. Kandeh Yumkela at the studio. And from that time to now, Doc, you know a member of parliament, let me just start first for no it don't say small way you come out now, so waiting on the happen at the well of parliament.
Well, you're right, you don't say way akanaya. First of all, before I answer your question, let's say thank God we all survived 1 year of COVID-19. We thank God for that, and I commend the Salon people there on ourselves and the media. We be say we don't also survive the 1 year of state of emergency where they can expire now this week. We thank God for all of them. And they also, yesterday, I go to an event where then they look back because now on the 23rd of March, they been fired the first shot for we civil war. So yesterday, I've been good education for me for go that program then at City Hall. So when man look back to all of them, a good way you ask the question, how will they do na parliament? Because now we supposed for help for maintain the peace and defend the democracy where people then fight for, shed blood for let we able day today in our country in peace. Within the well of parliament, we they try for do we best. A lot of work today, as you know. Don't pass beaucoup law them. We don't ratify many agreements. We colleagues then they don't begin their oversight activities. But of course, as you know, we get beaucoup work for do still. For let the parliament as a function as a parliament, we're in a 21st century parliament. But a lot don't happen. I think people go realize, say, this past year, by the way, this session they can done in about 6-7 weeks. Come May, and towards the end of May, we start a new session. But that just give an idea of some of the law that we don't pass. Sometimes some people don't remember again. We don't repeal the criminal libel law. We don't establish the Peace Commission. We don't also recently repeal one other act way in from the early 1900, way for establish a public examiner. We go and the laws that we go make, then they do autopsy and postmortem and people them properly, and how they go do and legally across the country. We've been on past the state of emergency law, the Finance Act, and the budget. We also do amend the NACSA, the act. So I just give example because sometimes the people can hear all that in but parliament, but then they forget say we main purpose. Now for pass law, we don't ratify over 20, maybe close to 30 agreements and conventions and treaties. Yeah.
Okay, talking about agreement, laws, treaties, and conventions. What do you make up of some of them agreements here so we don't ratify over the years, and what are some of them?
Well, for some of the agreement and routine agreements, you know, where we government can don't sign then United Nations or some other international bodies, government don't commit when they come. Some of them they standard agreements where easy for pass. Okay, waits too much time. Others then they where if an agreement like with companies or mining agreement anything and they require debate. And some of them there we can get for send to committee for let the committee examine them. We can invite people them. So we begin go line by line. Their meeting and they're very long. They will come back na the well of parliament, which we call committee of the whole. We begin go through again line by line. So some of their agreement and they're more difficult. Others then they will foresee we knock it and we get questions why they knock it. Where I should say some play back for common for some of that one there. Other one then they don't can this crime bill, cyber crime bill, where they look now, in not agreement in the law, where issues then they. So it's a lot of work. Parliamentary work not particularly easy.
So you as an individual, before you come na the well of parliament, so many times we don't get you in the studio, yeah, so they discuss on different issues, and including something they get away, some member of parliament and can pass into law, where according to you, then they know knocking they in place. So since you're gonna parliament, you don't ever oppose to any of the bill or legislation where they go on for pass, where you think they not they in the interest of salon people.
Well, na two forms. When we did na session, like we did committee session for go through bills, for get amendments, yeah, we can oppose some specific thing them, and we can propose amendments. So that's one set of things. Some other one, then they way, yes, we don't oppose, we don't even call for certain amendments. We will not win. You get forget numbers, because for some of them things, they then get for put into a vote. We in a number of cases where you not get the numbers, una go lose. I mean, una don't hear some way I challenge the APP agreement. That one day I've been very vehemently challenge them, because I not been believe they didn't give we enough time for review that agreement day. There were a lot of questions about the company. Concession there where we give way, some of we oppose even before we go to parliament. But again, I lost that vote today. But that's part of parliamentary debate. Not to alter you get for win, but make you point it then at the hands at, then record them, say na so. Recently, I'll give you another example. Recently, a journalist heard a statement na a forum. He go one conference na something na Freetown. So he sent to me say, "In one no waiting na be my opinion on that particular topic. They we get for send me PA go na library." But I been remember what I say. So for example, and sometimes they me position can firm where you get anything for do where I believe say go infringe on people their human rights or freedoms. And this na be one critical act where I oppose very strongly, and I know say it caused a lot of problems for me in a parliament that day. But I've been glad to say I remember exactly the position where I take, and where we go back in the hands at 2019, then go look the records, waiting I say. The guy came back, he asked me, say, "So you still stand by this?" I said, "I still stand by that opinion, but I lost the argument because I don't get the numbers."
Talking about losing an argument, we see one bill way or one issue way within a parliament we can with plenty draw now the issue of the unbundling of SALCAB and been there before parliament. What's have been the party position on the unbundling of SALCAB to where we get Zudlab now?
We've been get a lot of questions. We party not being believed say we been get adequate time for examining them. We party not being to agree with how the selection of the company we get for deliver then services then they've been done. Third, we party been totally disagree, say some of the most profitable side of that business that you pull and come on a government and the arguments they're not being rational to we. So we not being like that. But Parliament, therefore, if you get the numbers, you can win. If the opposition can together for some things, then can win. But that argument, they will not be able to succeed.
So now disappointed for Lancy, even though on been go back and forth with that na Parliament. At the end of the day, we end up seeing a change of management na SALCAB as they don't change now.
Look, I know I revisit something where Parliament don't pass. Suffice it to say, Parliament don't pass. I therefore stand with Wetin Parliament don't pass.
So now let's look at
go, don't vote for it.
Let's look at from the stage of allegations so being come out of corruption, say going to the Anti-Corruption Commission, they end up talk say Parliament, they're not finding anything for letting whole say this go show say Parliament involved in corrupt practices, and at the end of the day they don't send the issue gonna sideway on they deal with now for improve on systems and processes. So the whole allegations for so being come out for say member in a Parliament, including leadership and all, corruption allegation been there against una all. Wetin the NGC party be make up of this?
First of all, me welcome the fact say anti-corruption visits Parliament. Last year I do an interview with Samuel Wise Bangura and AYV, where he asked me then attended the allegations they may hot. I say me believe say the bodies the way they do audit and investigation for visit Parliament.
Why?
And for the simple reason that when they do that kind of investigation for una, then do analysis, like Wetin this one I don't do, it they reveal things the way you know say una for correct. We go help improve Parliament's performance, but also we image to the country and go make we more effective. So like this, the ACC don't pull summary, me don't request now, the full report. That full report they then get for sending out to a committee when about we 9 day. The Parliamentary Service Commission when at the speaker, the chair, and then at the highest body where they regulate within Parliament they do. I believe say we for take the findings very seriously as to Wetin anti-corruption say then see. We've also asked, because on side and they way me don't see the anti-corruption, they say staff they not provide information. For me, that's not issue. Why they not provide information to the anti-corruption or the auditors we then suppose for provide. So suffice it to say that for now, me particularly, I welcome the investigation where anti-corruption do. It they up to that we committee they now for take up and act on them. Yeah, because some serious thing in the inside.
So from your experience in Parliament all this while, you think say corrupt practice they happen at Parliament?
Parliament gets some old practices where we still continue, where me feel say not correct, where
what
wrong.
are some of them? They're old practices.
And so me believe say something and they we for change them. This report where the anti-corruption self pool, there were issues of procurement, there are issues where say we on Parliamentary Service Commission, we not give guidelines, which is true because probably we follow past practice, but then don't reveal, say we're supposed to give guidelines as to how certain monies can be used or activities can be carried out. So that one day again, that make us say I welcome the incident because when person can review, which you way they do every day, you feel say they do the right thing, but sometimes better way they for do them.
So some elements of corruption mix and some of them guidelines and the one another get right?
I believe so, because certain aspects of procurement, if you're not follow right, not correct, it depends on within, again, that specific, a procurement act say, we now get for determine whether it was a deliberate correct act, was it omission, and so on. So now then and then that make it go up to a young committee now for review, waiting the anti-corruption say.
For far too long, we don't hear this word lobby. For people and where the president can get appointments where they're going to Parliament say, you need to go lobby with the parliamentarians and before then they approve your appointments. How then the lobby una? Waiting that word they mean in Parliament?
Oh, I mean lobby in a broad terminology. Waiting me assume say mean, say person can be present in CV to you, he try for convince you say competent for the job, try for convince others then say yes, I able to do this job. Or people can meet you on their behalf or give the CV and do a testimony of the integrity and so on. I assume saying that lobbying mean. If you mean anything beyond that, then it's not good.
So you rightly mentioned, to your understanding, lobby na the issue of let them come with the accreditations or CV for come and show say then qualify or for attested and qualify for the job. Yeah. But lobby plenty time we talk about in the case of Parliament, people think say they give money for ensure say somebody pass through. When
me person not give me money yet for let pass through any committee we me they on. So I not go able to confirm that, say they happen, but I know say it has been there in the past. I don't hear people then they talk but then say, and then a problem we been on there from 1990 something and so problem?
On. For saying they give member of Parliament the money.
Say then can give incentives to some people. That this is in the past. So for
but
now, for that confirm, I don't know.
From their incentives and you not ever benefits from them.
No, not at all.
All right. If you just tune in, the studio guest we get here today now, Honorable Dr. Kandeh Yumkela. Today I go for the talk on different issues of national interest where it be done the raise concern about this BNTM. Well, we just some begin talk about different in them where they happen at Parliament, but later in the program it will get for continue for raise concern on issues them where it thinks say need for be dealt with. The program Good Morning Salon they continue, but again to the alleged corruption allegations and way being come out for Parliament. we see a colleague member of parliament, Honorable Tawa Kandeh, when have been, well, they refer to him previously as a whistleblower for that corruption allegations that will become from parliament. At the end of the day, na person way like it don't day na the other side of the coin. It say no they get support as a member of parliament. Wetin una na parliament as na una colleague being raise this issue up. Who support una don the game in terms of fighting corruption? Because one person we always on the say them for protect the country in democracy, and protecting the country in democracy, corruption I believe is in one aspect where the country for try for fight. Wetin una the member of parliament and don't they do for support una colleague?
Make I say first of all, give Honorable Tawa kudos for encourage. When we go to parliament, we can take an oath. And so online, then another oath say we defend the Constitution of the Republic of Salone. Then another line the way they say we go exercise with responsibilities conscientiously. So Honorable Tawa, based on in conscience, don't take stand on a number of issues where me believe say admirable for a young person and important. It don't go through hard times. It is fact. Some of which it don't go through parliament in a way punish them before even it is done in ethics, appearance, and so on. Then the people don't hear me opinion on that one. They already on BBC and so on. So I'm very consistent on that. Say somebody cannot be punished for conscientiously objecting to do something. So I did restate what I stated last year. So and I make I say some practice then the way we they do where me believe say not correct. Tawa not only the only person, even in my own case, me said they don't move me around a committees unannounced. They don't pull me in a Pan-African Parliament unannounced way not ever be. At a risk to my own reputation, just for political reasons. But me a big man, so making take him, you understand.
But for
young politicians, I believe say we forgive them that space for let they able express themselves. I hear everywhere say now on a program say they don't change in seat treat and not be noticed that one day. Nothing and they wrong. Waiting me they say is a number of them, yes. Time they then pull them at them committees, they immediately, even before the ethics committee they meet. And that day I stand up na the well of parliament for say, you're not correct.
I believe so na the leadership na parliament they do then changes here. So the issue of game of politics they play na parliament. Una they see una self colors changes they happen because of colors.
The way we stand in order is written. It makes some of them behavior than they be by color. Because the standing orders also, now that makes some of we don't call for revision of the standing orders, where they go on now. I think UNDP or so, they help a consultant for look then standing orders. For example, the people of Salone, for good reason, vote for political parties for their parliament. They even vote for the opposition control parliament, like Wetin be in Ghana now, not so. So the people of Salone, my own belief is for this new dispensation, then be wants true oversight, true separation of powers, and checks on the excesses of the executive. But the way with the standing orders, the standing orders basically they recognize two parties in the parliament. So now that makes some of we don't call say revise them for the future. You don't know if in the future they can get 5-6 parties there. But of course, we not done that revision. The 2 years don't left in with term. So invariably, this tradition. So certain things and the way they happen in parliament, like now, a speaker say, when we don't debate, and not so that will be they do before. They only recognize the leader of the opposition, that the leader way for APC, and the SLPP leader of government business for summarize. That not to the tradition. And not to that will be they do up to middle of last year.
So then practice
suddenly the thing change that people that like me and Emerson Lamina who for team up like anybody, if the speaker glad it make we talk, that is totally wrong. We are leaders of political parties. Yeah. Now we supposed to summarize the debate.
So
and they're not for limit with time. The tradition is we can talk for 30 minutes. But since last year to now, all that don't change. We don't ask. Sometimes then they yes, then go call, say, oh, Speaker wants to consult the leader, the opposition leader and the leader of government business. Yes, I talk in public because on them practice day, you no go deny the will of the people.
You think so?
We are recognized leaders of political parties so, elected in parliament. Size no matter in this respect.
So you think so na suppression to una?
Me just know say me don't know what me go through. Yeah? I know what I go through the last 2 years. As I said, I mean, I'm the only parliamentarian where they don't put in about 4 different committees. You did 6 months as you begin work, then shift you. I live with that because I know say are capable for then a different committees. But me say go on strike this last time. We then say now you move go by just like that, and that is wrong. You put no reason, no they just shift and the disrespect self say. The consult you say where the time they begin, which committees you members then one day, then suddenly list come out. We not get nothing for do with the consultations. Why are they say this? Yeah. Because now some of them thing and they again don't be to younger MPs, we're not correct. You they put people in a committee for let them develop expertise. It's very difficult for do oversight. Imagine you not be a school teacher, you can't be MP. Then put you in the energy committee. If you don't do the 3-4 years, you gain knowledge from the work where they work, the interaction where they interact. Then you don't go back na the files for look how the policy they evolve over time. Now that make like then other advanced countries or you go na Ghana then side and they some man don't then a committee 10-15 years. He know it's in been the old law 10 years ago and why then change her. So you go na some country you see change they happen. But if you they fling people then from committee to committee, not correct. So yes, you know, they know me position on this, and of course, part of them personal, so me don't state them, but not correct. There are certain bad practices what they do in all right.
So we start this discussion.
But all this, again, you have to understand why I say this. All na lessons plus waiting the anti-corruption commission don't reveal. For let we sit down now at the public service, the Parliamentary Service Commission, and genuinely help for reform certain practices. Within Parliament, we go make the democracy work. We go make young people really feel free for speak their voice. And sometimes and they make sure say some of the votes are also by secret ballot. Because the paramount chief, then they tell them, say, well, then just get for support government of the day. But the paramount chief then are then for be even the better conscience of the nation. Now then they next to the people who say the poverty, the pinch, then for be so apolitical that then for able team up, and look government sometimes and say, no, I don't agree.
It seems serious issues then they in a parliament we still like need for be uncovered from the discussions we don't get with you now from this morning. But according to the Anti-Corruption Commission, they not find anything when a corrupt practice.
Then why they describe.
So una they inside the well.
Yeah. Then hear what they describe, it is not necessarily corruption. I just talk about areas where we for improve. Yeah? Where we for look best practice. I don't talk about another one. Public Accounts Committee. Me believe say not to the ruling party for chair. Not to so then they do in Ghana, UK or Canada. And no say in the last parliament, some people be non push for change that one day. That last regime no agree. This new regime, new direction regime, keep the same practice. If you really want accountability, that committee then are one with opposition for begin chair. That 10 day we know say there is a real commitment to accountability. So when they report then they come, yes, the opposition take them report then they go according to the constitution, say we for debate time. If we get for go investigate until we set specialized committees, not that the constitution say. So yes, they know. I mean, people know saying I'm a view down there. I don't talk about that in plenty. So then Tiana about ways we go make we more effective. It is not about say the parliament corrupt. No.
You earlier talk about your own position where they don't move you from different committees them 4 times and without even notifying you. And we start this discussion with Honorable Ibrahim Tower, where we see Ibide at the Environment Committee, then later send now the Transparency Committee, and later we see he resign from that committee. From your own experience, what in the influence then change here?
It is arbitrary, sometimes and they punitive, correct.
What in the influence?
For example, I mean, if you take the Environment Committee, given that we are one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change, given that the deforestation rate so high, you need people then for staying at that committee for help this country do the right thing. Some of we don't call already, say, ban the export of timber for at least 5 years. Let we reorganize that industry there. So that when you they cut stick, you they plant other ones, until you plant 2. So that, in fact, we create a local furniture industry, like I been there in the 60s. Forest industries, na Kenema and Panguma, them place then they. But waiting, they had some of we now. Yeah, even the speaker don't make environmentalists, then can a parliament present. If you change committee leadership like a committee of environment, you know they get continuity, you know they get institutional memory. Meanwhile, 24/7. Some people they believe say even worse than the last regime, then just they cut stick they come on at this country. And why some of we not happy? Because we come on at the area, then they will then tick, then they come on. They kill the agriculture already. They kill the water table. This is a major problem. We don't talk about NGOs, then don't even present a movie, a film na the parliament for show the how the forest cover, they disappear all over the country and in Freetown. Business as usual.
So how you go describe the leadership in a parliament?
We get a lot for Dula, put it that way. Me and my colleagues, me included, I know they left anybody out. We for be more futuristic. We for look, and we for take this role important. This idea. You know that when you're doing governance now, you keep things the way they are because they're inconvenient, not correct. And some of we indeed, you know, now 2 years left. Now that make probably now we get for the bang small.
So in almost 3 years.
Yeah, in almost 3 years, there's certain fundamental thing and they will not change where some of we not happy.
So with that, honor the member of parliament inside this almost 3 years, and I don't do justice. So the people they represent in a parliament.
We don't do justice because we make laws. We write laws in 99% of the cases. The laws then what we don't pass, me believe say correct. So we take that very serious. We don't do them. Most of we MPs, they spend quality time now with constituencies. When I don't see the role we play in COVID sensitization, but at the same time, we can be better. That's the point we're making. Reform and innovation, not to say which you they do bad. Now the point say you for reach a higher standard. You for improve, you for be as good as the parliament of Rwanda. Be as good as the parliament of Ghana. But for maintain usa you day, you know, like when they swim, they tread water, you know, they move. And you glad they say, well, because I maintain systems out and day, all things good. No. Some of we want better reforms, even in parliamentary practice, even in parliamentary processes, so that the future generation go do things better. And we open up with standing orders so that we accommodate the possibilities of new political parties in the country.
Now, KKY going to parliament, for plenty people think say you go be the whistleblower, you go be the or you go to play the role of Wetin Tawa they play in a parliament. But for some, KKY will then be the expect in a parliament. Not so the KKY then they see you don't compromise.
Tawa, by in your style and your conscience, decide for be a parliamentarian the way he choose. Kandeh Yumkela, leader of NGC. I'm not just a parliamentarian. I'm leader of NGC in the parliament. I mean, a part of parliamentary leadership. Yeah, there are times where collective responsibility very crucial. Yeah, so my own style and my own role. I mean, maybe where they introduce me just now, you list a number of areas where they raised in parliament and out of parliament. So I do waiting, I believe, say, they do. Me not to Malema. People don't tell me, doctor, we want to be like Malema. Malema gain style, me get me own style, push for constitutionality, speak on the issues, educate as much as you can. You see at the right articles, at the Gona media, I know they take permission at the Gona media, because part of we job as parliamentarians also means say we for shape opinion, we for guide we people, we for open their minds. That one they do regular. Now that make us sit on a so my own style na my own style. Others then get their own style.
So we go ever see KKY resign at any committee because you don't see things they go well, because you see a lot of lapses they will not really need for work on at the parliament?
If there are real egregious incidents, that's possible, yeah.
Like Wetin so?
No, let we just put on that way. For now, I'm glad for the one day where I be willing for lead. I'm glad for the leadership we are providing in committees then they. But yes, at the state, I'm saying, you know, good for just shift people then around. And also important, like Wetin mean on a Ghana practice, when they don't approve oversight funds, the chairs are informed and then get an allocation. You not get for the right 3-4 letter for let somebody approve whether you dey get allocation for oversight. Ghana, it is very transparent. Now then side and they me believe say institutions for evolve and adopt best practices where they see other side, we applicable to you. So my advocacy now is we don't try in a parliament, but we could do much better. And I hope say yes, as Parliamentary Service Commission very soon. We don't do other things then, by the way. And the Parliamentary Service Commission, we don't draft a number of policies, human resources policy, gender policy, policy for the handicap, for manage parliament. But that one then administrative procedure, by the way, where they not been there before. Now wait here they talk now the actual parliamentary practice. Now they will not do reform yet.
Okay, continue for the with we. Dr. Kandeh, Honorable Dr. Kandeh Yumkela, leader for the National Grand Coalition. The program they listen to a Good Morning Saloon, where they can say from 98.1 FM. We already bring you this edition of the program. Musa Eskamana Minim.
And Mabel Kaba.
We still get the leader for the National Grand Coalition, NGC Party in Parliament, Honorable Dr. Kandeh Yumkela. We talk on the different issues them now the program. Honorable, we don't look at the Parliament issues. Though we come to one of the issues them we have been the past this BNTM, we know the issue of the Auditor General. You get your position on the Auditor General's issues on the 2019 audit report. What's in a KKY position on the 2019 audit report and issues with the BNM?
Well, the first issue where NGC we get is that we for debate all audit reports na the floor of Parliament. 2018, 2019 audit reports, where we not do it. And that one day I know say when I don't hear report, I don't, me Honorable Hassan Sise of the APC, we don't move motion. We're there on the floor. In fact, he came back up last week. A number of members of Parliament then raised the issue. Then say, hey, people don't raise. Before that, in fact, na Chief Baikur, Honorable Tawabin also don't pass another motion for debate the 2018 union. That no be. We pass another motion now, 2018, 2019 for debate, and that no be. So that now one set of issues where we believe say not correct. Yeah. The second one, the independence of that office. We know one harassment, intimidation, and all kind of action be targeted at that office. You don't see me writing. I say they under siege. We not feel say correct. If will be independent, then for left audit service for do their job. The money the way they can to audit service, yes. Then for them, then for get control over her, so that the independence no go be compromised. Then can create a special account where the money they go, no problem, but not them for control and not to Ministry of Finance. Another issue where we don't make, in fact, last week, one we colleague, we don't dinner the Public Accounts Committee, they tell we, say the audit service, CSF over the years don't tell them, say, they want external auditors for can audit them. Why? They can do that in other institutions so that then people go tell them how they go improve their services. So when I see that come out recently, I say, well, that's fine. But we colleague, we don't take the Public Accounts Committee, tell we say, oh, nothing way, then audit service and the Auditor General CSF don't they ask for. So we main position is let them not compromise in independence. Because them don't they where we the presidential candidates, then they use them reports, then they will praise them. Then they help we get data for whole governments accountable. We know one now where it don't begin reveal other things. Suddenly now there is this organized attack on the office.
You write a whole piece on this particular issue, and it just don't say it appear like the Auditor General they under siege, and also you ask that they not compromise the work way they do. Oh, that's not this thing in question.
Oh, this is not government. It's not government. No, read me piece. I mean, these are very explicit. Other Auditor General for audits na government institutions.
So you think
MDAs, parastatals. When some of the people the way they call for in SAC one ahead, now people the way they na parastatals. Don't forget saying that this audit report we've been praised back in 2016-17, where it show we some parastatals where they make money and they even surrender. They never even agree for surrender to Minister of Finance or Bank of Salon. They may get another slush fund. Now this why I've been they reveal anything and they. So when you see parastatal people there begin say for Saka, you say wait a minute. The person wait for check you say for Saka, and you know that. And we say why we want lay independent. The auditee no go tell auditor how for auditor, how for questioner when you for can meet. And if you allow somebody na government for controlling money, now that go be. Because why? If you say one go audit something, I say, well, I not get money for you. That means you don't stop her, not also. So the independence of that office. Now the office will talk about not just the auditor general. The
last
independence
time
of
the
office.
auditor from the Ministry of Finance at the studio, we make and clear say they know they ask that and want for show the audit service how for use the money, but then just for make it flow through the accounts where they may don't set up and it go back to audit service.
For as long as now that's the one do we own role na parliament now for protect that institution. Now to we day. Now the same chapter we create parliament, create audit service for show you how much they want independence will be guaranteed. If now that extent the Ministry of Finance one go, no problem. But we believe say it is more than that. The kind attack there where we observe over a few months, it passed that. Yeah, we're not a full man then. Come on, if some of we don't say with the camp and leadership, we don't in this country, we serve the get with your information, but we they observe. We they observe when something organized, persistent, and we they look the sources. Who side the attack then they come out. You they see the pattern. So yes, what you state, what you have been right, Aminam and Anuse, civil society, others don't see the same thing. So now that make what they say that institution do you allow protect them, then say go follow all procedures under the Finance Act and so on.
One call way the don't they be now for Lady Auditor General puts then revenue within the generate into the consolidated fund. Doing that, you think say that in any way they unbog the work of the Auditor General's office?
Yes, we believe say them for create a special account now the Bank of Salon where their money then they go. Yeah, and the audit office will get the signatories to that account, and I think saying on that side then they evolve. Any side where the money go, where it be say pass then get permission for taker, now control. Government cannot control that service. We want independence. That is for we again now the institution we they protect. For whoever get for can, it is the institution, the independence, impartiality, any effectiveness. Now they protect.
Okay, continue for the with Dr. Kandeh Yumkela.
We come over again to Honorable Kandeh Yumkela. We don't talk about different issues them at the program this morning. And now this BU administration, they're going to 3 years since they come into power in 2018. How you go describe the administration, especially so from the promise system where the president being used the manifesto where they come to power with in terms of waiting they don't do so far in this past 3 years. They don't fail the people of Salon or then they're not the right track.
This government gets a lot of work for do for convince we say we get a new direction. Get a lot for do for convince we say we're in a new direction. I've been quote the Afrobarometer survey we then do back in March last year, where shows say over 70% of the population believes that the country no they in the right direction. And that report they when they launch them, now World Bank, IMF, then all been there on the panel for listening to the report and then do that report the before COVID. 85% of the people then say they not like the way with the economy they go, of course, because a lot of things then don't they way government try for do with the economy, but it not they translate to the welfare of the common man. But there are other areas where some of we get big concerns there now. Yeah, as then they close their term. We concerned about waiting they want to do with the local government. Yeah. Yesterday we did a program where we did look at 30 years since the war. One of the key things then where Truth and Reconciliation Committee say pull this country in a centralization of power. The kind of some of the reform they will with the year say they want to do in a local government. We not believe saying that the right thing, it go kill with democracy, it go move with a one-party state. That trend there we not agree. There are 13 political parties, which is about 85% of all political parties in this country, where we don't say this is not right, and they continue for meet. Second, the cybercrime bill we don't commit with. Because if I put on NTI in totality, so waiting I want to do with local government, we not agree because we feel say it will centralize power. It go lead to a one-party state. Second, the cybercrime bill. We get a lot of issues, then just don't give we don't send her out to people then for look lawyers, colleagues, me don't post on like 5 of forums then where I can go with professionals and they. Already sludge, the Independent Media Commission don't talk, say, they not consult them properly. It is this problem we don't see, again with the Local Government Act. The ministers then can tell you, say, we don't consult widely. Who do you consult? How una pick them people then? They usai and usai. And now we see with this cybercrime bill, yesterday I think sludge, go meet the minister. Then say, una not consult with. And when you look at that bill, they begin infringe on human rights, freedom of information. The search and seizure provisions, this is not invasion of privacy. So we see some trend where they worry.
We go for can look at that bill in another program, but let me look at the issue
Wetin make I want put up. It is a national issue. It is on a direction where the government want to take where some of we they worry about.
We plan a program on that,
okay.
but for now,
just for now, it's part of that national package. Yeah, the economy. You don't see Wetin we release. NGC released yesterday on prices in the markets.
Because that's I want to ask you how una think say this administration don't really able for handle the bread and butter issues where now on that platform the plenty people believe say they make them the advocates say they want to change.
Yanda yon they not scored it. Then self know that say there are issues with the economy. I mean one of the things that we una media know the question, we una know the debate. Now the mining sector. The mining sector, there was a lot of promises say we'll then go revive it. We get a big case in England where we don't lost, where they can cost we hundreds of millions. That could have been avoided. Could have been avoided. But now that case there, we get another issue now where they can have parliament. We don't see a situation where government take assets, mineral assets, yeah, from one company, give another company. But you know, can have parliament. You know, is that the way to do it? Is it consistent with the law? Don't forget, say right now, get commission of inquiry, where they investigate, where other people then sell shares in Narutai. Now here is a case. Assets come off from one company to another company, the company they operate, but they don't come parliament. Is that constitutional? Is that the way to do it? So the economy, as long as we not get mining correct, we're not part of the main source of money what we need for investing in agriculture, infrastructure, and so on, there are question marks. As long as the people then, where we they try for help, everything we they do in the economy, now for bread and for let people then welfare improve. The prices are high. Now that make we stick to that. When they say, oh, will they do well, will they grow at 3.5%? We say, okay, let's go back. GDP not do. Wetin it mean for the people then welfare. So on the economy, there is a lot of struggling. There is a lot to do. For example, Parliament. We don't ask the Minister of Finance for CAM. For sure, we all the debt we then don't take in the past 3 years. Yeah, we want a table for sure. We all the debt, source of debt. We compare and to other regimes, benchmark them, how much debt they may take within 3 years, and the use of that money. Usai they go whether in fact the debt we take go into areas where go increase. Economic growth and also performance.
Okay, we know you for talk about the economy even before the 2018 elections. You get the way how you describe Salone economy. You don't start for talk about the economy, but when you talk about in different sectors or categories, we talk about expenditure, we talk about revenue generation, and one way you begin with when external debt or internal debt. From your own assessments, we look at these phases of the economy. We start for prudent expenditure.
Prudent expenditure, I'm not seeing it. I don't see a lot of, Adande, we don't talk about for 3 years very well. We give them credit about revenue mobilization, correct. But if you get boku money there, you spend boku back. We they back in the same situation, yeah. So expenditure control, I not seeing effective yet, and the Auditor General reports, they show that. I not see enough fiscal consolidation. When people, they compare now where this man don't die in Tanzania, what he do in 5 years? What he do with debt? What he do with development? You begin to say, well, wait a minute. Could we have done the same this time? So there are areas where I not see, yes, as I say, a lot of reform, but not forget, say, Parliament play a role in some of the Finance Act and anything, and the all way we don't pass single treasury account. That was good. We know now, say, all the money they go. But on the expenditure side, me not see much
What
control.
about the leakages? They're not able to block leakages.
Waiting the Auditor General in reports, they tell we say leakages, they're not locate. Now that's the tell we. Now that make one the discussion over. The leakage, they're not locked yet. And yes, we've been on right about that in 2016. The leakage, they're not locked yet. That is fact. Now that make we want a discussion over how we go help government. We self parliament. How we go help government lock them leakage then they where we they go oversight of other things. Because I don't maintain say once the services parastatals then no say parliament no they pay attention to them report then they na business as usual. So much change no they in that culture they na the government side.
Okay, Doctor, continue for the Wetin inside the program. Good morning, Salon.
We want to talk on different issues since we begin the program this morning, and we don't look at national issues, we don't look at what happen at parliament and other things we don't discuss. But let me go back home to the National Grand Coalition, NGC. 2023, Salon they get another set of election again for where we select leader back for be president and other positions them. Back home na the KKY, na the National Grand Coalition, we see in 2018, you have been the person waiting up ahead of this party also for challenge for be president na Salon. 2023, we go back to the polls. Honorable Dr. Kandeh Yumkela still wants for be president na Salon.
Let me go back quick to the leakages. Yeah? Now you asked me a question about leakages. Don't forget, we don't get Boko allegations recently from the Africanist press, BBC, social media, about corruption issues in the government. Yeah, that's a source of leakage. Where, in fact, Honorable Chairman Maju and me don't call for parliamentary hearings. Because we want no more. We don't want to rely on allegations. Yeah, so we want no more. So I want to make that point they clear. Say we don't take that action. 3 weeks ago, we don't send letter to Mr. Speaker. Say we go like forget public hearings. So for help the government, may the government self-explain in your side whether the allegation and then are true or not true. You know, so that one day I be want put that one there on the record. 2023, if I force, I get work now, not so.
We just get a year and a half.
Me work right now for continue for help this country for make laws, for continue for hold government accountable and check. Me party with the reorganize.
So that's a no.
We just want let PPRC try every week until we say then they print with constitution. Then another thing we will see. When I know they look big issues. One big issue now are the suppression of political parties. Yeah, and when you go back,
now the political parties them don't come out and talk in the suppress.
Well, we not give a platform because they're not agree.
We not give a platform.
They're not agree publish.
Where you say we not
allow
the issues.
The government printers no agree print with constitution till now. They don't 2-3 months. Every week until we say next week. For we that na suppression of freedom of expression and freedom of association. We party want we constitution for be published so that we go do a lower level election. What are they try to tell you? The party they reorganize, they prepare himself for the battle they will get for.
So as now they reorganize, back to my question, Honorable Kandeh Yumkela, Doctor, wants for be president na Salon still.
You see me still lip and politics, not so you see me they reorganize my party actively. Now for waiting. Now for go back and contest the elections. We get to do that.
You think say you get prospects for win?
If I get prospects for win?
The election.
From waiting we hear from the people there. We know say we party they make a difference. We know say we party people need alternatives. We know say also given the way we democracy they under threat. We need certain alliances for defend this democracy. And so all scenarios they on the table. Yeah? All scenarios for NGC. But NGC is here as a party to stay. 2023 will be wonderful. Will they organize? Will they ready? Now that make it again. Say PPRC and government printers print with constitution. We want to do over the elections.
Wetin different Honorable KKY Dr. Kandeh Yumkela don't do we make you think say you get prospects for be president na Salon? We not been happen in 2018.
They not to wait I don't do. Now the awareness of the people. And the awareness of the people don't go very high. The people expectations being very high about new direction. There are things them being want where them go change. There are issues with the economy where them feel say their lifestyle go better. Bag rest, I remember the promises were made. If you look bag rest now from 235,000 now 360,000. You take pint oil, cooking oil, 3,500 to 6,000. The list boku something and they don't go up by 100%. The price then not double. Wait till they try for say. If you go around to the common man, then they tell you say we they suffer. the Afrobarometer survey last year, hunger, they on the rise na Salone. Na Sudan survey of 3,000 people. Crime, they go up. One of our headline news, na crime. Law and order, no seem for the. So there are a lot of things where people been expected by now, then life for don't improve, they not see. So waiting at the talk on the street, then say we need an alternative. We need another way to do business in this country.
We need an alternative.
We need new politics also, way more inclusive. Yesterday we discussed about Pakaba and legacy. That inclusiveness what we see after the war, we bring peace and stability. Now we see a lot of division, sometimes deliberate division. So people then get genuine concern, a mega trend, then we then say we need an alternative.
Talking about alternative, and you talk about plenty options there for the NGC going into the 2023 elections. Then options then they get for be alliance in any way.
That's also there on the table. Yes, very much so. There are some battles where we get for push, like this local government reform. It get for be done by several political parties. Some of those things could evolve to other kinds of strategic alliances. Yes, that is on the table too.
Strategic alliance.
Coalition. Remember waiting we name, not so National Grand Coalition. Nigeria get coalition. Kenya then get Rainbow Coalition.
For Salone, it clear na Salone say we get the APC and the SLPP most times political party they don't join for ensure say they link one side for let one person win. Okay. So another options here when they explore. Which one you feel say better than the other? Where NGC sometimes go on for form a coalition with?
No. I think you don't jump ahead of me like almost 2 years. What's important now foresee the possibility of strategic alliances are possible. But there are bigger national issues where we get forfeit, we will need for forfeits together.
But if not
if
NGC,
that evolve into partnerships for face the elections in 2023, so be it. Yeah?
If not NGC, the SLPP or APC, which one you would prefer?
No, that one they not a question where I go answer.
Why?
Wetin are concerned but now wetin are they do with NGC for preparing for 2023, for prepare NGC so that even if there is an alliance or anything, we able fit.
You don't experience the two leadership there, but at least you get knowledge about the leadership of the APC and self-leadership of the SLPP. Also one of them 2 years you think they really don't help Salone so far. Meanwhile, because the NGC not able yet for get a presidential candidate to the win election. Then two party here, also one you think they really don't try for the people of Salone.
Then they want long debate now. Yeah. Then they are going to need Professor J.D. Ali for can help me.
But from your experience of
look
the
into
two
the political
leadership
history of this country. Look, suffice it to say now, political parties, they find common ground. We don't begin to see common ground on issues. Yeah? Issues where they above personal aggrandizement. We don't see issues now. This cybercrime bill, for example, big concern about human rights, freedoms in the country. Yeah, press freedom. That one day we get common cause for that one day. We get common cause for make sure, say, they not disrupt local government. We Pakaba work very hard for recreate after 30 years within dismantle for centralized power and a one-party dictatorship. So we no one go to that. If we begin continue for find common cause, where we believe say we need for come together for improve this country, so be it. We'll do it.
Doctor, we get for see any alliance from the NGC, whether for join the APC or the SLPP going to the 2023 election?
That question they say again. Now the same question they ask.
Yes.
They ask five ways. Now the same answer they give. It's about common cause, common values, and waiting they been at the country now, and waiting we see in the future. We really want to let this country better. We want to let the education quality be very high. We want to let corruption go down. We not go say with the fight corruption, then other thing be not possible. So waiting we they say, alliance is possible, but yes, we they reorganize we party now, we they prepare we self for 2023.
Alliance is possible. Wetin go make una really decide for link either of the two sides?
No, you they assume say that either of the two sides. Remember say na 17 political parties they not so.
Yeah.
Alliances means alliances with other political parties as well.
But you sure
it can
say
be a configuration of 4 parties. It can be a configuration of 2 parties. Wait here they say it is right on the table. Now the advantage that we get.
So you sure say the NGC go able care Dr. Kandeh Yumkela go na State House?
That is not the issue for me. Politics is not really about me becoming president now. You know, I don't reach the age now that I make a kintobo other people then say for think about legacy. I don't reach the age now where the country even more valuable to me. Trying to make it right, trying to make it work, to say things that others will be scared to say.
So at this stage.
So it is not about me becoming president. It is about a better Salone force.
We wrap up the program now. At this stage, from your experience, we don't get now Salone in active politics in compared to your days na the UN. You get any regrets at this stage where you left that job there and go into active politics?
Till now, I not get no regret. Till now, I not get no regret. I believe saying at the right here I've been do. People they then don't criticize. Say yes, some of we make the sacrifice. We left a secure job, a safe job. For can say yes, we go fight for we country. And that desire they would they continue. You know, see, I still there now. 5.5 years, I don't learn boku, then don't do all kind of thing, but we survive. And in fact, I feel so we better prepared now. Because now we know, as they can say now, we know the in total, not so. We know how parliament they work. We know how man and the chap. Okay. We know how.
Man and the chap.
Oh, we know all that one day now. We don't become embedded very well. Oh, now that make we watch them report them. We also talk to the constituents around the country. So yes, in fact, now I feel I better prepared than ever before. Yeah, because I don't on the soil 5.5 years. I don't face all kinds of things.
So you think say you force a contesting for presidency where you been staying at the country for 5 continuous years now being a rush?
No, it wasn't a rush at all. In fact, that experience they helped me now. Now I know how the game they play, but more importantly, I know how the governance they rotting. I know waiting for change even better and how fast for change.
All right. Many thanks. We'll spend all that time for being in the studio again for look at other issues then.
Thank you so much.
That's the Honorable Dr. Kandeh Yumkela na been with studio guests this morning. We look at different issues them. As them they go for the bring and camp for talk on other national issues them as well. Because we not get all the time this morning for deliberate on all the other issues them we've been really want for talk on. The program Naya go done for today. Plenty thank you to the production team. Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kroma produced the program. DJ Ahmad give technical support. Moses Kavura make on our Facebook. So till we meet again, may welcome to get to say for a wonderful day. Goodbye.
And Musa is Kamara say bye bye.